waste, you would have the council controlled waste streams, which are the curbside bags, recycling, etc. And you've got a contractor who just takes it away to landfill. But in between that, there's a whole lot of wastes that don't need to go to landfill, and that's the space we are trying to occupy, and we are trying to find pathways for products. Of those products, we've got soft plastics, which we take, work with council on that, on the outlets. Polystyrene, we've got a memorandum of understanding with Expol and MIDA 10, and we take mountains of polystyrene. We pack it in bags and we ship it to Tauranga, and they use the polystyrene to make beans for bean bags. Instead
one more minute, Mr. Pretorius.
Also, we're got Tetra Paks, which is liquid paperboard, e-waste. We handle mountains of e-waste now. Batteries, building and construction waste. We're getting to influence that space. That's a big project going forward with Whitianga. And also another massive operation in organic waste. We've just been given a grant just shy of $1 million from the Ministry for the Environment to undertake a pilot project to process organic wastes, food wastes, biosolids, using a technology called black soldier flies. So we'll do that at our site. It's a pilot project over 3 years, and it's got significant, could have significant impact for the waste scene in the district and nationally.
So we just go to question time now, Mr. Pretorius. So is any, we've got two. First of all, we start with Councillor Rodley, followed by Councillor Revel.
Good morning. Two questions, and I'm happy to do one and then pass over to my colleague. So with those additional waste, the partnerships with the soft plastic and the polystyrene, the Tetra Pak, etc., is that, and I know where they are on the site, has that been challenging sort of fitting it in with the existing sort of footprint? Are you starting to run out of room? What else could be done to make those work?
Space is an issue, but we're spending this year optimizing our space on the site. So constructing new things, doing things differently. So yes, could have more, but we deal with what we've got and optimize it, yes.
Thank you. And the second question, so you talked about the organic waste, and you've had information from council about the sort of volumes that are being collected, helping inform how they might get processed?
One of the peculiarities of the funding system is the council got funded for their food waste project from the ministry. So our project has to fall outside that. But once we're established and have got our project to a commercial reality, we'll be able to talk to council about taking their food waste and processing that, so that it doesn't have to. And we can do it. We can do it at a local level. So something in Whitianga can be run on a small site, and it can be done at a local level.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for your presentation, Manus, and I just commend you for the leadership you've provided that produces what it's done over the past 5 years. Well done. Just a couple of questions. You mentioned you got 22 employees. How many volunteers do you have that are contributing to the work of the refuge centre? And I've got a supplementary question.
Yes, well, the trustees are obviously also volunteers, and they put a lot of time and effort in. But probably around that, there's probably another 10 odd volunteers that contribute their time on a regular basis. Right. We could do more, but they range from school kids that come and help with the electronic waste, and we help them get qualified, do what they need to do to.
Right.
what we've discovered is that we'd rather create a job than rely on a volunteer, because then we can scale it up and we can make it it's more reliable having staff. So it makes the whole, if you're relying on volunteers, I don't feel that's wholly sustainable.
Right.
But
I understand that. That's very good. Secondly, I know the aspirations that the Seagull Syndicate had in the past, and particularly around the time that the council was changing the contractor for the waste management, is how are you satisfied with how things are working in terms of your relationship with the council's contractor?
Yes, I was going to get to that. Prior to waste management tendering for the contract, we entered into a memorandum of understanding with them that they would migrate the operation of the transfer stations over to a community-based model. We have had some talks with them, and we've got a meeting scheduled for 2 weeks' time to continue those discussions. So that's high on our agenda. It's not so high on waste management's agenda. So we're working hard to get it up. So we've put a proposal to council, and council have said it's waste management's contract. They need to come to us to modify it, and it was a proposal. So we are active in that space. Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Any further questions around the table? I don't want Peter to be showing my age too much, but I can remember sitting around these tables when Peter Wood came with the idea of setting up the Seagull Centre, and I've got to say congratulations, well done, and amazing. And you're putting that amount back in the community is incredible. Just a quick question: the black soldier fly, what does it actually do, please? So where does it come from?
Black soldier flies are everywhere.
Here now in New Zealand?
Yeah, so if you put your food waste, those are the things buzzing around, and those are the maggots, for want of a better word. We call them larvae, but they're maggots, effectively. So it's basically utilizing that on an industrial scale in controlled conditions. It will be so you breed the flies in a controlled environment. Then you use the eggs with we call it substrate, but it's just basically ground up food waste. They eat the food waste and they develop into the larva, and you can harvest the larva. They're very high protein, can be used for chicken and food, fish feed if necessary, and a lot of other uses, pet food as well. So it's a significant opportunity. There's kingfish farms going up here. There's other things that the most significant on this will be its application in smaller communities. So the food waste collection is going to be a mandatory thing in the coming years, and council got ahead of it and has implemented. But throughout the country, food waste are going to have to be separated from your normal curbside waste, and councils are going to be faced with the dilemma of what to do with it. It's difficult to handle. It smells. It attracts vermin. This is a very clean, simple way of doing it that can be done anywhere. It can even be powered by solar power. So it's very, very scalable and can be utilized in remote locations. But the big application here would be in the biosolids sphere. And biosolids are the stuff that comes off the sewage plant. It's organic, but it's obviously got a lot of other issues. And if this can be utilized there, there's a significant amount of waste that goes to landfill from the sewage plants. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Glenn, the next speaker, please. If you cast your eye Oh, you're going to run cast your eye across the corner of that big screen there. You'll see your minutes left every now and again. If you think I'm looking at Robin all the time, I'm not. I'm looking at the minutes on the board there. Okay, you got
Thank
5.
you. If I could just have another N on the end of that name, that'd be good. Jim
That's
McLean is
excellent.
my name. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for the opportunity to come along and talk to you this morning. I am here on behalf of the Thames Clay Target Club. And a slight dispute that I have with the rates department with regard to the services that we are being charged for. We lease from council approximately 10 acres of land on the western side of the airfield. We signed a new 10-year lease earlier this year. The club has been in occupation in Thames for 125 years, which I think probably makes it one of the oldest establishments in the area. Yes, I disagree with the services that we are being charged for as part of our rates demand. We would like to utilise the services, but from a practical point of view, they are not available for us. My dispute really revolves around the area of service map, which is in the district plan. And that shows all the land from Ngāti Maru Highway to the Waihao River as being part of an area of service. We lease from council 3.68 hectares of land, which starts just on the western side of the airfield. From the club rooms back to the Sir Keith Park Memorial is approximately 700 metres in a straight line. So it is really the sewage, the water and the rubbish collection that I am asking you to reconsider on behalf of the club. We would love to, as I said, we would love to connect to those services, but from a practical point of view, we can't. The plan appears to have been drawn with a very broad brush. I note that the land to the east of Ngāti Maru Highway, where the Pony Club is not included within the area of service. So that's basically, we had a rate demand earlier this year, of which I paid approximately 50% and left out the payments owed on the sewage, water, etc. So any questions?
Yeah, can you please explain to us what communication have you had with council staff?
I've had various emails. I've found the council staff good to talk to discuss with. I've had numerous emails backwards and forwards with them, and but they are a bit tied by the district plan and the area of service map of which we are part of. And I'm appealing to you from a practical point of view, is that even though we're part of that, we're located within that area of service. Practically, yeah, we can't dig a canal over through the airfield and across the back to Ngāti Maru Highway for our service. It's too far. It's not practical.
Any board members? Questions at all?
Can you just clarify again? Sewage, water and
Sewage, water and rubbish collection.
and rubbish. And what do you do at the moment for?
We have a septic tank system.
Yep.
We increased that a couple of years ago, and the building inspector asked us to extend the effluent disposal field, which we did.
Yep.
We pay Smart Environmental to pick up our rubbish.
Okay.
And that costs the club, well, it's averaged $305 for the last 6 months per month.
And water?
Water, we've got a tank.
Right. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Councillor Sinclair?
Hi, Jim. Have you read the council's rates remission policy? And do you qualify under that policy?
No, we probably don't. But financially, we could pay it. It's not a matter of finance. It's a matter of practical, in my opinion, practical common sense.
I'm suggesting that maybe you could go and read the policy, but there's a miscellaneous section of the policy where you might qualify. So that would be an avenue to go and look at and explore.
Okay, thank you.
As a question.
Any further? Yes.
Thanks, Chair. Just wondering, What's the total rates for that property?
The total rates this year were $2,354, and I paid $1,116 of that sum.
Thank you.
Any further comments? I might add that I frequent that area occasionally. I must say you maintain it very well indeed. It's always a credit to the club. Not too sure. Ours is 1867, our company, so we're just slightly ahead of you in age. Thank you, Mr. Glenn. That's excellent. We'll note that down and we'll try and search out some avenues for you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very
all
much
for your time. Much appreciated.
That's all right. Ruth, did you wish to speak to us? And you can see the little monitor on that corner of that screen from where you're sitting, can't you? When it starts, there's a little timer on that corner there. When
No.
you will.
Good morning, everybody. Firstly, may the Lord watch over you, give you clarity of mind, an open heart, and realise that the decisions you make here have immense repercussions on those that live in this community. May He give you that inner peace to be the correct decisions that you make. I have got 5 quick points and I'll be as quick as I can with them. 1, I had somebody that does frequents number 305 Mary Street, who came to me quite distressed about the fact that the rumour that is out there is that the council are going to be removing the seatings on the intersection of Mary and Pollen Street. The reason that they had been told was because of the people that frequent 305 and they don't want to have those sort of people in that part. This was tested down at the Civic Centre. They took the seats away because people were sleeping on them at night. Sometimes they weren't awake when others were up and about in the morning, and people took offence to that. From a personal angle, until somebody has had to sleep in a car for their safety or lack of housing, or until somebody has actually not been able to get a rental property and has had to sleep in the rough, or people can't afford to, they are going to be having to find places to stay. And unfortunately, they do tend to go into the central area where there is lights and they feel safer because thereof. We don't have that right to judge. We are meant to be here to care for our community. And not only for the people from 305, and I'm not condoning and I'm not condemning, I'm just stating the facts that were given to me. There are, and I have seen people that take walks that are long-term rehab patients from up at the hospital. They will take a walk down, they stop, they rest at the seat that has been put outside the lantern, and then they get enough puff to get down to the Mary Street, Pollen Street area, and then they then have to have a seat to sit on. So if we take away the seats because of one small group of people in our community, what about the elderly, the people that have mobile disabilities that can get out there with their walkers but can't make any more than a block or half a block because they stop and sit down at the corner down opposite the Imperial, then at the Farmers, and then they come again and they're up at the other bit. What happens to them? Where are they going to sit? We've got to have a more holistic picture as to why the setting's there rather than just for one lot. So that's one thing. The next thing that I heard what that gentleman said about what he was getting and not getting and paying rates for. When the increase for the rates go, they don't take into the fact that the valuations also went up as well. So the cost of our rates actually went up considerably more, in some cases 20% or over for what it was the previous year, not the minimal amount that people have been reading in the media. So therefore, like myself, to pay my rates, I actually had to forfeit 2.5 weeks of my pension to pay one instalment. Yes, we can apply for and get the rebate, but that doesn't even cover, or that barely covers half one of my instalments. So there is that. Then on top of that, you've got your interest, so your insurance and what have you. Before a beneficiary, as an elderly person, they've got to have approximately $8,000 to $10,000 a year just to pay rates and insurances. So they are a large number of your ratepayers. Please keep that in mind for next year. The next thing, the media release, there are bits and pieces that get put into the media that is not quite accurate in what goes. And unfortunately, in some places, like on the Monotari, I've heard of a few houses now that are not selling because they cannot get insurance because the media pumps up the climate change, the rising waters and what have you. Unfortunately, all of this is really coming down bad. Sales are dropping. I know one chap had to drop his house by over 200,000 to get a sale on it. So, you know, that drops what they say it is, and you're rating us on our value, 200,000 off that, that makes a big difference in that one. And lastly, rumour. Another one, Totra Valley Road is going to have 500 properties up there. The council are looking at buying them, and because they're going to relocate the Monotari housing out to there. Now, this is something I have spoken to people in council. I've spoken to a councillor about it, and I have asked, can we please have communication from the council to the people through correct information printed in the media? My bang for 20 years has been now communication and open honesty. And for 20 years, I've banged on about it and it's not happening. Please, can we turn that around?
Thank you very much. I'll leave my comments to somebody else to finish. Anybody wish to say anything? Deputy Chair Rob Johnson.
Through the chair, can I ask the area manager a question? Is there any move in council to shift seats off the corner of Mary and Pollen?
There's no proposal to remove seats in that vicinity that I'm aware of.
Any other? Yes, Councillor Rodley.
Good morning, Ruth. Can I just check, you're talking about media releases. So is that so like stuff in New Zealand Herald and
The local
media rather than the media releases that council puts out?
It's
Or
what
a bit of both.
It's what the radio and sometimes the local papers have been putting. I can't afford other media papers and things. So it's what I see, what comes into my letterbox or what I pick up in town. But I have been told, and I've had people in tears with me saying, can you ask for something to be done? Because this is what they're being told and nothing's being done. And Housing Corp are now not doing maintenance. And there's one lady on the Monotari who's got a brick wall that is in risk of falling, and they're not doing anything about removing that because they're going to pass the houses because they were told that Housing Court were going to go and taken up to the Totra Valley.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from board members? A couple of quick points. The valuations that you talk about presumably your house valuation. Your rates are based on land valuation. I think most lands remain fairly static around here in terms of value, or certainly mine has. And a quick answer to Totra Valley Road. The first part of Totra Valley Road is a company called Seabass who's doing their own subdivision up there. That's certainly not going to be used for that. And it's indicated there may be another 300 sections further up the road. But certainly there's no discussion around relocating Monotari up to Totra Valley Road.
Can I just ask then that something be put in bold on the front of the profile, and the chap who is in the local radio down here get his facts right and letting people know that this is not happening, because there is a person I know who is refusing to come up to building standards with what he's done because he knows that the council are going to be shifting them up there. It really is important that your decisions or the media that take notes, I know you can't tell them what to say, but it is causing horrendous health issues with people out there. And the valuation that I'm talking about is sales. And when sales go down, you know, you can't do anything about that. But thank you.
Anyway, the person you're talking about, I can see on my screen in front of me, is actually listening to what you're saying.
I'm sorry. Who are we talking about?
The one that you said talking about on the radio.
Yes, I can
Right in
see
front of
that,
you.
but unfortunately, he needs to get his facts right if
Yeah,
he's going
I
to do
think he's
that.
got that message now.
That's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
All right.
appreciate what you do and the fact that you allow me to come, but someone has to speak out about what is going there with the health of the elderly. When I see people being taken to hospital because of that worry, I leave it
Okay.
with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would someone care to move, please, the Thames Community Board receive Mr. Pretorius, Mr. Jim Glenn and Ruth Effort as speakers in the public forum, please? So moved by, you got them? Kishan, moved, seconded by Deputy Chair. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. No, 1.4. No. Oh, 1.4, there's no items not on agenda or late urgent items, so we'll move to 1.5, conflict of interest. Please, yeah, so, yes, Councillor Rodley.
In item 2.2, one of the suggested grants from the discretionary budget involves an organisation that I am the vice president of. So I would wish to not discuss that particular one, but would seek the chair's discretion to still take part in the general discussion.
And I've had a discussion with the governance officer and we can't see any problems with that whatsoever. You just have to vacate your seat for, and that is G in that particular one you're talking about, isn't it?
Roger. I mean, yes.
And I'll cast my eyes across the other side of the room. Deputy Chair.
Yeah, I declare a conflict in 2.2. Option 3, item. Hang on just a second.
3 and 5.
Somewhere there.
A and B.
C.
Oh,
B.
C.
Oh yeah, A, B, and A and B. Thank you. And item 4, financial conflict. Thank you.
Option 3. A, B, and where's 4?
item 7.
Just about the whole lot, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll just leave if it's easier.
What I suggest we do, we'll vacate the room and you stay here. Okay, that's noted. The governance officer's taken those notes down. And we'll remind you when it comes to item 2.2. Okay. Then the page. Minutes for confirmation, which is 1.6. So can we have a mover, please, that confirm the Thames Community Board confirms it's 11th of September 2024 minutes is true and a correct record, so we can allow some, if you wish to discuss anything which you think may not be correct in there, that's the only point of discussion that's not correct in the minutes, not what the matter is in the minutes. It's moved by Councillor Rebel. Do we have a seconder, please? Deputy Chair Johnson. Is there anything in those minutes as in the agenda? There being none, I propose to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. 2.1, approval of location and install visitors information signs in Pollen Street. That's page 12 for those that are operating on the page numbers. So Do I have a mover, please, for the first part of that? That the Thames Community Board receives the approval of a location to install a visitor's information sign on Pollen Street, Grahamstown, report dated the 3rd of October 2024. Yes, we have Board Member Mackenzie, seconded by Councillor Rodley. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. That allows us to discuss those. Do we have a mover for the second part of that motion, please? Moved by Councillor Revel. Do we have a seconder so we can have a discussion on it? Seconded by Board Member Rakwa. And that is to approve option 1, install a visitor's information sign on the west side of Pollen Street, north of the pedestrian crossing as indicated in the concept below. So do we have any discussion on that, please? Oh, what I'm going to do, just while you gather your thoughts. Oh, if you said, no, you're not going to. I know. I'm just going to call upon our area manager to just give us a brief outline on that, please. Thank you very much, Rob.
So the purpose of this report is to seek approval for a location for a new visitor information sign. And the background to this report was when the Thames Branding and Signage Project Steering Group was set up last year, the group identified 3 locations for these visitor information signs, and the board approved the location for 2 of them in November 2023, and this is the 3rd one. So for the Grahamstown sign, approval of the location is required prior to installing the sign. So this report has 4 options for you to consider. Option 1 is the west side of Pollen Street to the north of the pedestrian crossing, and this is the recommended option. Option 2 is across the road on the east side of Pollen Street, south of the pedestrian crossing. And then the 3rd option is the east side of Pollen Street on the northern side of the pedestrian crossing. Option 4 is to do nothing and don't install a visitor information sign.
Thank you, Area Manager, for that. So is there any questions, any discussion about this, please? As you can see, you're going to raise your hands. Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. I'm happy with all locations, but I'd like to see what your thought on that, what we prefer, because you know that area much better than compared to other people.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to influence the meeting, but it's fair to say I'm more than comfortable with that. In real terms, I've been in and around that area for close to 50 years, 47 to be honest, living in that area, and last 33 years immediately there. And to me, it's the most logical one, bearing in mind that option 2 and 3, Little Toke has taken part of that area there and paid for to use it for tables and chairs. And whilst they agreed to that, the sign and thinking the sign was a good idea, they would impinge upon their operation there. And on the other side, it's kind of like the lost area, the north side of the eastern position. The one which is going to capture the imagination of most people going down Grahamstown, and bearing in mind 80% of the people go to Grahamstown cross that pedestrian crossing one way or another. Very rarely do you see people going without crossing that pedestrian crossing. And that would be there with the historic letterbox, which we managed to secure from Willoughby Street and drag down to there years ago. And I think it would sit perfectly in that environment, to be honest with you. That's my personal opinion, and that's the way I'll be voting. Anybody else got any further discussion after that?
Just so I get it right in my mind, because it seems to be right, but that's sort of quite near the funeral director's funeral home, is that right?
I think you're correct there, Councillor Rebel. The only thing it does not mention the funeral position at all. Most people have been there since 1867, know where we are. Thank you. That's the last time I buy you a coffee. Councillor Rodley.
So I am broadly
In favour?
Supportive of the sign being on the west side of Pollen Street. That's the Salvation Army side. And yes, we actually I inquired of staff and Adrian why the option to have it on the southern end, so closest to the historic post box, wasn't mentioned in here. And I think the answer came back that where it was going to be was a better place, but I would always normally defer to staff opinions about things like traffic sight lines and things. But I was down there yesterday, and it's my opinion that there's very, very few cars turning out of the Salvation Army car park into Pollen Street. I sat there for an hour and a half yesterday, and no one turned right out there or left out of there. Half a dozen cars went in, but they all went out onto Kirkwood. So I think where it is there is way more blocking traffic view than if it was down by the post box. And also down by the post box, it's just a bigger area there, and it seems to me safer because you haven't got in that picture there, you can see the person on option 1, page 15, is quite close to the edge of the footpath there, and that's not that far away from where the road, from where the traffic crossing part is. So it would appear to me that it's actually would be safer on the southern side of it by the post box. So I just realise I'm only one of 7 voices, but I just wanted to put that out there to see what people thought.
So through the chair, you'll notice that one of the criteria that we assessed these options against included looking at the sightlines and driver safety. And so Ed was involved with that assessment, and he is 100% confident that there's no safety issues in regard to the location that's recommended from motorists pulling in and out of the driveway. Yeah.
So could I do a follow?
I might.
Councillor Rebel.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Councillor
My
Rebel.
recollection is with the Salvation Army building, that you've got this entrance way and then you've got angle parking beside the building that's angled in such a way that, yeah, that's kind of an obvious entrance, and then you park. I'm not sure whether there's a sign that says entry only or something like that, but maybe if there was a sign that said entry only.
There is a small yellow arrow painted on the thing,
Right.
pointing back towards Kirkwood.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there actually isn't a entry only sort of sign, because if traffic's not going to come out, then there's not the sightline issue, is there? But okay.
That confirms Deputy Chair's comments that it was entry only anyway, that you went down to see on your motor scooter. Is that correct? That's what you told us you were going to do. So I hear what you're saying, Councillor Rodley, with regards to that. I think that this is indicative only. I don't think that's the actual position of it. And you look closely at the historic letterbox, you'll find it's on the footpath and not on that little piece of road thing there. And I would expect that this would be on the footpath as well. So it's approximately 4 metres off the edge of the bollards and 4 metres. The fog line is approximately 4 metres off the edge of the entranceway into the Salvation Army. So anybody who did exit that, they'd be 4 metres further out, and this would be 4 metres further in. So there'll be absolutely clear vision south. Having put that and having obtained that letterbox from Willoughby Street and relocated it down to there, I feel that the two would be in conflict of each other. The letterbox is historic and needs to stand alone on its own. And this is a map of Grahamstown, and the two don't really mix. So if you have the balance on either side of the path, left and right, I think you get a far better viewing platform for the map. And the letterbox is still used. It's an active letterbox, and people need to go and post mail in there. But that's just my observations. Anybody else got anything? Councillor Sinclair, you wish to say something?
Since I was invited. Yeah, and I agree, but Martin and I spent some time on Monday at this site looking and sort of measuring out, and it felt to me like there was a significantly larger amount of space on the southern side of the western side of Pollen Street to put that. Mindful that I have used that letterbox on numerous occasions for over many years, and I don't think that there is a specific conflict. I think my overall comment is, it's good to get this in. It's going to be great to have this sign there. And I'm sorry that the place that we're talking about, the southern side, wasn't included as an option for us to see exactly how it had been assessed against the criteria that have been listed there. Because I'm sorry that it just wasn't there, that's all.
Okay. I must say the report is quite thorough, maybe with that little thing. I'm amazed. I mean, that's a report for one sign. Yeah. Board Member McKean.
Sorry. Oh my God. I'm no roadie manager, but I would have thought that if it was on that southern side, could potentially block the view of pedestrians crossing the road. So if you're driving coming in that way and the thing was there, then there could be pedestrians caught up behind there where you could potentially not see them. Where it's on the other side, it's a clear view coming across. So that's what I would have. That's the first thing that I thought when you talked about being on the southern side, was it's a lot harder to see, could be a lot harder to see pedestrians trying to cross the road coming onto.
Very good observation, Board Member McKenzie. Councillor Rodley.
Through the chair, if I could have another bite of the cherry. As Councillor Sinclair's pointed out, the fact that there's obviously 4 potential spots. The fact that we've got pluses and minuses for 3, but not the 4th one. That's the bit that I'm concerned about. And the only way that I can potentially ask that it go in that other spot is to raise a separate motion to say, can we have an option 4? Can it be in the southwestern corner? And if that's something that I feel I've got support for, but yeah, why haven't we got the option? And yeah, I just struggle with it, but I don't want to spend all day and I've got other stuff to do. So
yeah, correct. To be honest, yeah, as I've already indicated, that's a very full discussion document on it. It runs into a number of pages about that, and I'm quite comfortable with it. In that respect, we're not putting another. We wouldn't. You'd have to vote the original motion down before you put up a second motion, and you make it very complicated for the chair. So I propose to put the motion down because you only get one chance to speak to a motion unless you're the chair. All right. So all those in favour, I'll read it out to you. So, okay, approved option 1, install a visitor's information sign on the west side of Pollen Street, north of the pedestrian crossing as indicated in the concept below. Leave that last word out. As indicated in the concept, not below. Forget about the below. As indicated in the concept. Okay, we have a mover and we have a second. I propose to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. You want that recorded? Yes. Right, so that's done. That was a precursor to 2.2. Just getting you warmed up for discussion. That's what I said. I've had that conversation this morning. So, we start, got that, what I propose is move, I'm not move, call for a mover and a second for 1, 2, 3, and 3 is 1, 2, and 3 within 3. And leave the options for discussion. Are you comfortable with that? You all understand that? So we have a move of the Thames Community Board, receives the allocation of Thames Community Board grants 2024-25, extends the scope of the youth focus to include children, and approves the Thames Community Board area focus of investment 2024-25 and community safety, children and youth, promoting Thames and Thames tourism. Do we have a mover? Yes, moved by Deputy Chair Johnson. Do we have a second? Second by Councillor Rodley. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Now we're going to ask the area manager, please, to speak to those 4, 5, and subsequent ones on the page. Thank you.
So the purpose of item 2.2 is to allocate the board's discretionary budget for 2024-25, which was $105,000. This budget can be used for both council and non-council initiatives and facilities or projects to benefit the community. So therefore it can be for CapEx or OpEx.
So we
The
just discussed
options-
option 2.
Yeah, so the options today are option 1, which is investment in community safety initiatives. And this option is recommended. Option 2, invest in initiatives and events, activities for Thames children and youth. And option 3, which is invest in initiatives to promote Thames and the Thames tourism providers. Then we've also got option 4, which is invest in the installation of the Miners Gate sculpture on the Hauraki Rail Trail. And finally, option 5, do nothing, do not invest funds from the discretionary budget.
Okay, so
So shall I see?
is everybody comfortable with option 1? If I just get some indication on option 1, sorry, Councillor Rebel.
Just have clarity. We're not voting to have option 1, and therefore that means we're saying no to option 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So they're not actually options. They are the 4 or 5 separate.
There are options. There's 1, 2, and 3 options there on my page. So
Yep.
I was going to do it because some people want to speak separately to each one. We're not taking as a lump sum as such. All right. Well, you could change that to item 1 if you want to.
I'm just sort of clarifying the word option, because
Yeah,
generally I think of option, we choose between that one and that one. What you're saying is,
I see. Yeah.
you know, and so it's just the
That'd be a
word.
cool feature.
I understand. So if we say, yep, we'll go for number 4, we then also get the opportunity to go for number 5.
Oh, you want numbers down the side there?
Well,
Fine.
yeah, I'm just clarifying that
No
we're not
problems.
optioning between these various things. Robin, help me with the language, but you know what I mean.
Okay, no, I've got that. We'll do that. So Councillor Rodley, followed by Councillor Sinclair.
For Councillor Rebel's clarity, it seems to me that it's broken down into the 3 sections within option 3. So there's the community safety being the Thames Community Patrol, children and youth in the next one, sort of, yes, and then tourism, promoting Thames in
Option 3.
in the third one. Is that correct?
Correct.
And we concur with that. Councillor Sinclair?
You good?
Don't ask him.
Important, we're all on the same page. So I'm really aware, and I've raised it before when we had a workshop about this, that we have a particular amount of money, and this, I think when I added up, pretty much if we said yes to everything that's here, we would be spending it all in one go, and there'd be nothing.
No.
Nearly all, yeah.
No.
That's
There's a little bit left over.
So yes, that's exactly what I was asking. The reason that I wanted this here is so that we could actually be really mindful of that. So if we move the motion and choose option 1 straight away, that's, a running total would be extremely useful at this point. So there's no resolution as it stands, as we have to install miners gates. So that was when so option 4 is listed in the order paper, but not there. And so I'm just really mindful that if we chose to select option 4, which is to install the miners gates, which we've talked about and we've given permission, etc. That's the history. We will have 0 balance remaining. So I just want people to be really mindful of that. So this gives us absolutely no flexibility at any stage between now and the end of June to do anything else or respond to any other community need.
That's not entirely true. You've got $17,579.
Not if we choose.
We can't, minus gates more than that.
19,000.
We can't allocate anything towards it.
Correct.
I just want people to be mindful of that this is one shot and then it's gone.
No, I deliberately have commented to the area manager that will not be the case. There will be a balance left over.
Right. But we have to say no to something then.
Minus gates.
Let's proceed. But
minus gates were optional.
So I asked if we could have a running total so that we knew what the impact of our decision was.
Yeah, that's why I set up in front of you now to do the running total.
No.
So you'll have the running
I'm
total.
very happy that we've had a talk about it now. Thank you.
And yeah, so this is a point of clarification, I hope.
Yes, a point of clarification around what Councillor Sinclair has raised. Can I throw the word tugpra into the equation? Is there any option, are any of these projects that are listed here an option to be funded by tugpra to then leave us with discretionary? I just want to put that out there because there may well be stuff here that we all want to support. We know we have tugpra money, and I just want to know if that's an option, even though it's not specifically listed in the report.
If you're asking me as the chair of community board,
well,
I'm in favour of the tugpra account being used for the benefit of the Thames board. There's absolutely no doubt about that. This sum of money, $105,000, is a discretionary, isn't it? Discretionary budget from the Thames Community District Council. So we have gone through and looked at those 1, 2 and 3 as the areas which you just reiterated a second ago. We looked at those areas as areas that we'd focus on for this sum of money. If you have a particular pace for tugpra, absolutely fine. You can raise that at any meeting, any time, and we'll look at it, and I'm sure you'll get support if it's a good project. There's no problem about that. But these ones are based around those 1, 2, 3 things that were listed, and we agreed in the first motion we passed just now that that's what we'll be doing. So that's
I understand that. It's just that,
yeah. So we rather than confuse the issue, we've gone through this as a board prior to this without the monetary things there and discuss what we might like to do. Which I've got a piece of paper somewhere, some all on. The area manager gave me. So we actually have gone through. This is not the first iteration. We've seen this before. Okay. You've seen it before. We've discussed it, but we didn't have a dollar amount alongside each one. All right. So we're not bringing anything. We're not underhanded. We're not bringing anything new through. We're just spending the money which the Thames Community District Council granted to us, which is voted out by 3 councillors who voted, I just looked around to see and gone, who voted it down as saying that the boards are not capable of spending their own money. Okay. So, and direct thing to board member Rakwa, who's bound to be asking the question, is this value for money for the ratepayers? And the letter that was sent out, this for every $150,000 of our own local money that we spend, it's a 1% rate increase. This is less than $150,000. So you do the math, but it won't be very much. And if you go to in here and go through, you'll see what the cost is, for example, for the gates, for the signs, 13 cents, 15 cents per ratepayer. So we're not being overly generous. We're not being willful in what we're doing. We're doing what we feel is something just to give this community a lift at the time right now and help these people in the Thames community, those people nominated in here. So is that a clear enough explanation, or have I just clouded the water? Eh? Yes, sure, absolutely.
Can we just clarify, like, if we vote for an option, does it have to be every A, B, C, D, or can we?
No. We're going to try and go through it very quickly, one by one. So you'd need a good reason to say that these aren't valid options because they have been before us before, right? Yeah. Councillor Rodney had his hand up because he's quite concerned.
I'd like to move that we approve option 1.
Yeah. Do you just want to change that to numerical number on the side there, 4?
Yes, point 4. I would like to move point 4 of.
Okay, we'll get that out of the way then. I was going to lump it in the other one. We'll get that out of the way. So it's moved by Councillor Rodney. Do we have a seconder, please? Seconded by Councillor Rebel. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, clearly carried. So that's done. So there's the cam. Oh, desk cam will go into their car. So number 5, which is subsection option 2. So we've got those things. That's the one that Martin Rodney is not commenting on G. So you can go down there. So if you're looking through that now, let's go down through those things so you're clear in your mind what's happening, right? So $4,500 at Thames Community Centre, and that's for driving course for people, Thames, young people right in front of you on the big screen. Much easier to read. All right, $117 per participant. You okay with that? Because everybody said you were at the first round. Yes, Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Just want a small question. So we have 100,000 for Spain, and we had 3 category. Is that we have to split in even, like 35 grand each, or they can be up and down?
No.
Okay.
That's right in front of you there, $49,581 is the first option. The next one would be, if you add them all together, it's 36,765. So we're not splitting them 30, 30, 30. No, that would be totally unfair.
Well, it's not necessary.
No, that's right. Not necessary is a better word.
It's constraining us.
So look in front of you on the screen. Go back to, drop it back. Oh, that's it there, right? So that's the first one. Next one is the Thames Centre Parade Traffic Management, $4,470. We're not going to deny the children Centre Parade. Because that comes under 2, children and youth. So you're happy with that? Right. The next one, I feel we're obligated. And I think anybody who's like-minded would say the same. I mean, we all agree that the basketball court is well patronised, well used. And I think we owe that to that contract, All Garden Works, to pay them. They've carried that money now since April, since April. And no interest. Okay, we're all happy with that? Or sorry, Mark?
Yes, I agree with you, Chair, that that does need to be paid. I wonder if that's a potential option for Tuggerah.
Sorry? Oh. Let's get it out of the way today because Tuggerah is a whole new thing. We've got to start again. And the man's been waiting since then. He's been waiting since April to be paid for it.
But potentially we could pay it and then
we could,
Tuggerah could chip the money back into the discretionary
it would
fund.
probably be next year unless we've got a meeting in December.
Okay, but that is an option, a potential.
It is an option, but one we won't discuss today. Right, so we all agree with that? We did. So next one's Ngāti Maru Runanga. So that's T-Rap for organising a Christmas party in the park. Now, we wouldn't deny the children that, would we?
Why are you looking at me, Adrian?
Oh, no, look at the board to see what's up.
You're giving me the...
Right, that's good.
Can I just ask
sorry,
a question?
Councillor Rebel?
Because quite a few of these things talking about Christmas, and it's kind of gives me a warm feeling. That was all.
It's not,
No.
it's not far away.
In the past, we have, I think the community board has stuck up a Christmas tree.
Sorry?
In the
Oh,
past.
yes, sorry, yes.
The community board has stuck up a Christmas tree
Yes.
and there's been costs associated with that. Is that likely to be something that we should have been thinking at this point or not?
Can I confirm that Martin and I paid for the Christmas decorations that went on the last tree that went up out of our own money? And they are still in Martin's garage. And I don't want to speak for Councillor Rodley, but I'm sure that they could be reused so as not to take up lots of valuable storage space. But yeah, they weren't, they didn't incur any cost to the board.
What about the tree? Is that in your garage too?
No, I believe the tree reached the end of its life and went to landfill. I went to the food waste.
May we discuss that? May we discuss that over morning tea? Because I got some thoughts about that, but it's not on the agenda at the moment. But it's a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling to have.
And respectfully, there's no morning tea on the agenda.
Oh, that's right, because you didn't pay for it. Councillor McKenzie. Oh, I was just elevated up. Board Member McKenzie. Yeah.
Thank you very, oh, no, not official. Oh, okay.
No, don't
Don't
shake hands
change
with
it.
the opposition.
I am happy with that. I just don't know if I'm happy with the $2,174 to pay for the singers or the harmonic resonators. Don't know if I don't completely agree with it. I agree with the generator hire and future events, but I don't agree with paying for a band.
I guess that TRAP put that through. I guess it's a whole package, to be honest. I don't know if they do it in the park without the harmonic resonator, whatever
Could they not do it for like a
whatever that is.
for free?
Eh?
Do it for free? Yeah,
It's what?
it's a community run event. I think they would be happy with some money rather than no money. I'm just saying.
I think it's a minimal amount. If they get 4,000 or 5,000 people there, I think it's fantastic when you get $1 each.
Yeah.
Really, all you got to do is hope and pray for fine weather.
Okay.
All right. So I hear what you're saying about that, but if they put up a package to us, which they did, TRAP, and that was within the package to do that. This is the first time you're actually seeing the dollars value alongside each one. And I don't even know what a harmonic resonator is, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
It's a band.
Oh, it's a band. Oh,
I just don't know if ratepayers would be happy for us to pay for a band. That's all.
if the ratepayers are going to a free concert, I'm sure they will be. It is free. Right. The next one, that's a tick. Next one's a Children's Day at the Victoria Park. CAP's organising that. Now that's an annual event, and I think it's well patronised, isn't it? I've wandered through there on occasions. I thought fantastic what they're doing. Got children down there at Victoria Park. Great. I haven't had the face painting done though. Right. Oh, yes. Rebel.
2025, I assume it's in our financial year.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. So our financial year finishes on the 31st of June. I just took one day extra. Right, first aid course. Oh, sorry, Councillor Rodley.
Yeah, and I think something to bear in mind with that Children's Day event is that I believe that they've had less funding available through central government for things like this. So hence they're looking for more support from us.
Right. Okay, F, first aid course.
This feels like a new one that we haven't seen before. Rose, can you give us a bit of
Certainly, this
background?
is an option that's responding to a request. So we've actually had a request from a club where it requires the young people that are coaches to be qualified. And so this option, we'd actually open it up to other clubs to send along their participants as well. And we'd run it So we'd be run by council's contractor for the benefit of organisations that need qualified first aid people. This provider delivered the community response group first aid courses around the peninsula recently, and we had very good feedback. So we understand they're very good.
Yeah, Board Member Mackenzie.
Sorry, just to add on to that, Rose, what other clubs were targeted to see if anyone else would want to be involved?
We haven't gone out yet.
Oh, you haven't?
We've only got 16 spaces.
Yeah.
And so if we, depending on the numbers from the group that has requested it, there'll be some spaces left. So we'll target sports clubs and other groups.
Okay.
That deliver to children and young people.
Cool.
So Deputy Chair has just indicated that he's maybe conflicted in that. So we'll note that. They got 8. It must be a high risk club, that Thames Gym Club. They've got eight people going to attend the course.
Yes, that's what they've indicated.
Right.
You know, and it will need to be probably on a weekend. So whether or not they can all come, but we're hoping that it'll be full.
So I just want to go back to
spaces.
Board Member Mackenzie and ask, would you be interested in something like this?
To work with us on,
Yeah.
on it?
As in like club perspective? Or
As a first aid course for your.
yeah, I think it's a great idea because it is quite
Okay.
costly, and I think to get it for the teenage coaches and stuff, I think it's great.
Okay.
Thanks, Holly.
Councillor Rodley.
I think I'm correct in saying that the bit that we've got here about the gym sports club, that you know, we could happily vote for the 1650 without necessarily committing that there's going to be 8 people from the gym sports club, because I would be concerned that, well, that's like half the place is going to one club. I would be interested in them being spread around a little bit more, but I fully support the 1650, so I can happily vote for that as long as some consideration is given to seeing what interest there is out there amongst other sports.
I hear what you're saying.
Would it only be sports clubs?
Any groups that cater for children and young people.
Yeah. I hear you what you're saying. So, I mean, if we vote for that 1650 and agree to it, then maybe the area manager may have that ability to shuffle them around to make sure we get a good cross section rather than one organisation. No, we can't discuss that here because there's a conflict there as well as being a recipient. So,
Holly is not yet conflicted on F.
no, I'm saying Councillor Rodley was pointing to Board Member Mackenzie saying that, you know, they should go on. So we're not, because we might be going out to them and then they say, oh, well, they got that money for their club and we can't be doing that, seem to be doing that. All right, so we're okay with that. 1650 is probably the smallest amount there on the whole sheet. So Board Member Rodley is noted as leaving for the Civic Centre hire for the, as a member of the Thames Music and Drama Club, has repositioned himself in the public forum. So the Civic Centre hire for School of Rock show. Comments? You all happy? Okay, that's good. So that's a total of, area manager, what's the total, please?
49,581.
Oh, sorry, Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Just want to check, does Thames Music and Drama, when they play something, they charge to public? Does that not enough to cover their cost to hire the Civic Centre?
Through the chair. So I've looked at all their financials. I requested that they send them in, and I'm comfortable with the current financial situation of the group. They spend a lot of money on these shows, and yes, they do charge a fee for entrance, and that does help to cover the costs, but there's a lot of costs over and above hiring the hall such as the royalties that they have to pay for, all the costumes, a lot of other costs.
Okay, happy with the answer?
Yes.
That's excellent. So propose it.
Once again, can I just check that this is in our financial year?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. That finishes on the 30th of June, not the 31st. So this is May. It is 22nd of May, 25th of May. Okay. So that is, can you scroll back to motion again, please? The
Where's
top,
there? On those two.
Oh, no. Okay.
So now,
Do we have somebody care to move that?
I just have a quick question through the chair. If we're conflicted in any one of these areas, are we therefore excluded from the vote on the whole bundle?
You are, because we can't split them out.
Right, fair enough.
Otherwise, you'd have to go and vote line by line until we got to the, yeah. But we acknowledge that you asked the question. So that, do I have a mover for that item 5, please? Councillor Rebel, second by Board Member Rakwa. Any further discussion amongst those of us still here? All in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. Now we move down to items.
Through the chair, so you'll be marking that Martin and I did not vote in this situation?
Oh, it's down.
It's down?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's in there as you have a conflict of interest here. Rest assured, we do it by the book with Jenna sitting alongside me. It'll be right. Otherwise, I get a kick underneath the table if someone do wrong. Yeah, this is one you're moving. Yeah, you got where Martin went, you've got to go because you're just about all of this. So item 6. So we've got item 6 up there in front of you.
option 3.
Option 3. Yes, Councillor Rebel.
So we're talking about part A.
Yes,
This
first
thing's
one,
on the footpath.
13,260.
This thing's on the footpath, and we got $2,000 of traffic management.
That's an estimate, and we did look into it in terms of the cost, and unfortunately it's a requirement in that particular location in Pollen Street to have traffic management. So I did look into it with our roading manager.
That's crazy.
I hear you. I honestly hear you loud and clear. I thought that the company midnight contractors would just go. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. Yes, Councillor Sinclair.
During our initial discussions on this, and certainly the first time we talked about having those 3 signs, so one at Porritt Park, one at the Civic Centre and one at Grahamstown, the Civic Centre, the area where the information centre is now, was being used for a different purpose. And so I'm wondering whether actually we need to have visitor information signage there. Those of us who've been down and had a look, there is a lot of, well, the visitor centre will be open shortly, the information centre. I would actually really like to put the brakes on installing which one is it, the Kauri Dam sign outside the Civic Centre for a time until we've seen how the information centre is running. There's large windows there that are currently free and empty, opportunities for maps to be put there and displays. And so I would really say, do we need that there at this stage? So yes to the other signs, the one at the Poppet Head we've looked at, the one at Porritt Park, certainly, because Porritt Park is heaving. There's people there all the time, every day when I drove past. But yeah. Sorry, the Civic Centre.
Yeah, part. Oh, next one down. So you're going to put Porritt Park off. I didn't think you were doing that.
Separate because it's not a capital project.
Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. I got that.
So my proposal, if you like, is that I'm suggesting that we remove the budget, or that we don't approve the budget for the sign in the shape of a kauri dam to be installed outside the Civic Centre, and instead prioritise the sign in the shape of the poppet head, which will be installed on Pollen Street. So the figure then changes from 13,260 to 5,130. Plus 2,000.
That's
Plus the
$2,000.
2,000.
I'd be happy to accept that, to second that.
Okay.
Through the chair, that would be a total of $7,130. We would reduce that amount.
Okay. Board Member Rakwa.
Thanks, Chair. Just want to check, when we have recovery funds came last year sometime and we used for Explore Thames, does any funding available so we can use for installing those sculpture signs? No?
Yeah, I'll ask the area manager just to comment on that because she's actually got to dig into that information.
Can I ask one more?
No, because we haven't got the answer to that one yet. Yeah. So she's getting a call from her boss about this because they're watching.
So the question from Board Member Raikwa is whether or not there's any other funding that could be used to contribute towards the cost of the signage. You'll recall that in the long-term plan, some funding was provided for Thames Town promotion, and part of that was some funding for an initiative in Grahamstown, which was in the Thames Community Board submission. It was $9,000. And so there may be a possibility to use that if you prefer to use it for an expense other than what was intended in the submission on the long-term plan.
What was your next question?
The sign we plan to put by the Thames Civic Centre, they can be relocated somewhere else for Idle's location rather than have nothing to have.
So through the chair, the locations that were identified were done through the steering group, which Holly and Martin were on. And the 3 locations that were identified were outside the Civic Centre, Porritt Park and Grahamstown. As we know, 2 of those locations were approved in November 2023, and this morning you've approved the 3rd location in Grahamstown.
Okay. Just a comment about that. The eyesight's not open 24/7, but it is open 7 days a week. I'm very nervous about when it will be open, extremely nervous, because I'm hearing mutterings about it's going to be open during bus hours at the moment because they don't have volunteers. That's what I'm a bit like the rumours. But the thing is that this whole idea of the windows being clean like that is so you can see inside the information. And that was the whole idea. Personally, I like the concept of having a 24/7 sign out there, so where you can see the maps of Thames and the places to go and the walks and things like that. Personally, we did discuss it last year and we agreed that we would do it last year. And it's making it difficult for me to work out how we're going to do the motion. If you take it out.
Yeah, and we did discuss this last year, and
23rd November.
My suggestion is that the landscape has now changed because when we discussed that, the area was being used for a different purpose. There was a different tenant in the space that is now being used for the visitor information services. So, I suggest that this work that we've done to date and I say we, but I mean Rose has done to date, isn't lost because we can re-examine this decision in
And that's,
2 months' time.
that's the
3
point that keeps me,
and say, actually,
Yeah.
we've really established that there is absolutely a need to have 24 hours worth of people being able to look at a map as opposed to people being able to be serviced by the information centre as it is working, as it is current.
I hear you and I do understand your thinking. Councillor Rodley?
Yes, and I certainly think it would be possible for those two Thames maps that we've got to be, you know, possibly nicely framed or laminated or something, and they could hang on the inside window of the information centre. That would be very visible, and when the information centre is not open, people could still access those maps. So yes, it might be slightly messy to chop option 3A in half, but there seems to be an appetite to do it. So, and we should
Sure.
voted for it, didn't we?
Sure.
Oh, we haven't voted.
Haven't voted yet. And
I'd like to move that we just do
No,
the
we-
one in Pollen Street, Grahamstown, option 2A2.
well, otherwise I'll vacate the chair. Just the brand manager's design is not for anything on the windows, hanging off the windows, anything. The ability to look inside the building. So that was the original concept. But anyway, then we'll keep on going. We're going to roll up instruction.
Through the chair. So we've heard views from Councillor Sinclair and Board Member Raikwa. Are there any other comments before?
Sorry, listening to this conversation, I support to install carry dam. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay. I'm just working through my head while we're going up through here, just how we're going to achieve this. Okay, so we'll come back on that because we'll probably only do B to E to start with.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, we'll come back to that one. So B, $4,000 for sign the shape of the pinnacles, installed at Porritt Park. You comfortable with that? Okay. Information centre, blue and white signs. That's a little I symbol, of which the total of four. Midnight contractors might have to do those as well.
If NZTA are going to own them, why
No,
Why aren't
they'll
they
be owned by
paying
NZTA, and the sad thing is, Councillor Rebel, we don't know where the ones they took down when we didn't have an information centre have gone. If we can locate those, we can reduce the cost there. So somebody's got them hidden away, or they've probably gone into an auction somewhere. Councillor Rodley? Okay.
Sorry, but presumably it can't be the eyesight symbol. It has to just be the information.
Information centre, just a
Yeah.
I with a dot on it, isn't it? Oh, is it? So what is it then? It's just an eye. Left eye or right eye? Right. So, next one, tourist simple signs at Queen Street, Thames, construction and installation of 4 signs for Queen Street, Kunui Bay.
So through the chair, the last time I provided an update on this was in July, when I said we will go back to Waka Kotahi and ask again because they rejected the signs originally. And through one thing and another, they have now pre-approved them. So we're in a situation where we could proceed.
Right, so you comfortable with that? Councillor Rodley?
I mean, the difference between C and D are quite stark, and I guess it's all around Waka Kotahi wanting traffic management, but we've got 2,500 for 2 signs, and Waka Kotahi is saying 12,000 for 4 signs. That's over twice as much per sign, but they will have regulations and things they have to abide by. But 12 grand for 4 signs.
You want to test the water?
Oh, I think we need them, and I think that the steering group identified the need to have signage up, and we'd be shortchanging ourselves for the sake of a measly 12 grand. But as public forum member said, we have to be thinking about ratepayers' money, public money that we're spending, but I'll still support it.
One would expect that these signs here are symbol signs for Queen Street, Technical and Are these signs to encourage people to go to Pollen Street, or are these signs to say you're at Thames, or what actually
They're
are?
symbols. Through the chair, there's symbol signs, so there's a variety. There's parking, they're directional
Oh.
signs,
Toilets,
that kind of thing.
shows that Thames is still awake, open for business. So you're comfortable with what you know now, knowing what they are? Okay, steampunk parade, great show. Excuse me.
So I need to just declare a conflict for that one. I realise that I'm a group I'm involved with are going to be paid to do a couple of events at Steampunk, so it's probably appropriate that I don't take part in this one. My apologies for not mentioning it before.
Very good. Thank you, Councillor Rodley. Okay, that's the last one. So now we just scroll back up to the top of the page, please. A, construction, installation of 2 visitor information signs at Council CapEx Program, Civic Centre and Pollen Street, Grahamstown. Right, what was, can I please have what you
So to
said?
be absolutely clear, we're talking on page 20 about resolution number 6. So item A, I'm suggesting we strike out the 6130 part I in the purpose.
Yes.
We have that in front of us. And while everybody was talking, I also remembered that there is actually a community notice board at the Civic Centre, which hasn't been being used because the previous way for people to get information into that community notice board was to go through the eyesight, which hasn't been operating. So really happy to move this item with that amendment.
Okay, so I need a clear
We
motion,
need it on the
please.
screen. I
Yeah.
thought, no, sorry,
Okay.
I thought I
Yeah.
was being clear. Oh,
Hi,
sorry.
that's on the screen here in front of me now, so it's fine.
No, the resolution. So item number 6.
Yes.
Strike out the 6130 council contractor under group supplier, and strike out Thames Civic Centre under the purpose, and then the thank you.
Oh, that's a nice picture. You've
Yep.
done it. You've done it.
So the 6130 would be struck out. $7130,
Okay, so
which includes the cost of the sign, which was 5130 plus the 2000.
So it's the 7.
It is 7130. Yeah.
what I propose to do, we'll vote on that to remove that from there.
Can we not just take it as a substantive motion, because that's what I've moved?
We're still going to vote on it.
That's true. I don't have a second yet.
So you've moved it.
I have.
So do we have a seconder to remove the carry sign off? Yeah, so I just try and get a seconder now.
Yes.
So that's Board Member McKenzie. Okay. So basically what it should read is that you're deleting, can we just go back to that?
Yeah.
That the wording that you had on the screen that we're going to vote for? I just want to get abundantly clear that we're going to remove this one here. So we're removing the Kauri Dam installation outside the Civic Centre. So
on that page, you really, on the right-hand column, you're taking out everything,
The first,
everything until
So-
a sign.
correct, that's what I'm alluding
And-
to.
And on the left-hand column, you're taking out item I1, Civic Centre, and
That's,
so it's just leaving it as Pollen Street. And you're
That-
amending the figure,
that's very
reducing
clear.
the
So
figure by 6130.
that's much clearer. So that's what I wanted to strike out in this one here. So basically, we're going to vote. It's been moved and second. We'll be voting that the sign in the shape of a carry dam to be installed outside the Thames Civic Centre for a value of $6,130 will be removed from the motion. Or, yeah,
On page 20 of the agenda.
yeah, on page 20 of the agenda. So we're abundantly clear. We're removing that one there and we're left with a balance of, 7138, sorry.
Correct.
Right. So it's been moved by Councillor Riley, second by Board Member, Sinclair, second by Board Member Kenzie. And we're only going open for discussion now, so you have a chance to speak to it. If you're for or against it, please say where you're for or against the motion. For means you're removing it, against is you're leaving it.
I will be against. I think we should talk about the original one first. How many people supporting and how many not supporting? And opposing at the moment.
I missed that. You're suggesting we talk about with the poppet head one and whether we support that one.
We're only talking about the one outside the Civic Centre. Are you for that one being there, or do you want to see it removed from the motion? Do you want to see the carry dam outside the Civic Centre sign?
Yes.
Right. So you're against removing it from the motion. That's the confusing part. Councillor Sinclair, did you want to say any more? Okay. Board Member McKenzie, do you want to say anything as a seconder? No. Councillor Rod, Councillor Rebel,
Yes.
you want to say anything?
No.
Okay,
Said what else?
so the motion that I propose to put is that the sign in the shape of a carry dam will be installed outside, will not be installed outside the Thames Civic Centre to the value of $6,130. Now, all those people who wish to see it removed from the things say, I hope I got this right. Who want to see it removed from that area? Those who wish to see it retained in that area? So it's three to one. I'm not, because I'm keeping out of the argument, I already said what it should be. So I'm allowing democracy at its very best here.
I feel that you were probably elected to have an opinion, Adrian.
So now we're going to change that motion and it'll read. So that's gone up. So we see, can we just amend that one? Is that possible? You amend that one, take out the Civic Centre and take out those lines, please. And then we'll move all those A through to it's gone. You're all comfortable with what you're getting? All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried.
You were against, Kishan? You want to record it?
Okay. So can we a running total now, please? 26,709. Yeah, you can come back, Deputy Chair. We now have enough money for the miners' gates. Right. What's this one? We've got down here. I think what's 7.4?
That's recommended to council that they have it as a CapEx project.
We're going to do that too, eh?
Yes.
Okay, the last one there is 7. Somebody please please move that motion, the recommendation to Thames Community District Council. Oh, we're taking one out. Have we? We've taken one out, so we need to adjust that figure. Beg your pardon? Yep, please, yeah,
We do need to adjust that figure, Jenna.
yes.
Yep.
7,000. But we're moving 7 now. One more.
Sorry. I thought you were wanting to go back to the spreadsheet. It's okay, I can share the resolution.
21. Yeah. 13,260, Jenna. We need to adjust that.
Yeah, I've asked you what the figure will be.
Oh, yeah, it's this one.
7,130.
7,130.
130.
Up to 7,130.
Yeah, it's got up to you.
So it's 1 visitor sign, not 2? Correct? Because the one at Porrick Park is not a CapEx.
Correct.
Right, everybody understand that now? Do I have a mover for that motion on, oh, that motion that was on the screen? Moved by Councillor Sinclair. Oh,
No. It actually, no, because in the paper we were presented with an option 4, which was to put some money towards miners gates, and there is no resolution, and we haven't had any discussion about whether we want to do that.
I was just joking before.
So, yeah, so
I just
exactly, we can do that after this motion. I just wanted to
Yeah.
raise that it had been.
I just
put
need,
in there, but
I
that
just
was-
need a mover for that one, for a council recommendation, because the CapEx one,
Could I
Councillor Rebel,
just request a brief adjournment from, or
I thought you're going to fall off your chair again. No, go. We'll note your absence. Councillor Rodley, are you moving it or seconding it?
So I would imagine that I still shouldn't vote on that one because that was still part of that, or is this now?
No,
just
this is
completely separate and
now,
just
we're
about
talking about the
fines?
Grahamstown sign. This is the Grahamstown sign, the one single sign remaining
I
is a
understand, yeah.
CapEx one.
Yep.
So you already voted for Grahamstown in the previous motion.
Yep. So the governance staff are okay that we can, Rob and I
Yeah.
can vote on that? Oh, you said
You
you
can't.
can't vote.
You can. You'll what? Oh, you'll move it? Okay, do we have a seconder, please? I'll second it. It's only a recommendation to council. Okay. No further discussion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against declared carried. So on the strength of that, shall we have a break?
We're so close to this finishing this, eh?
Oh, where is this minus go? I can't even find, where's this minus? Oh,
So we have got.
on page 29. So, councillor Sinclair, you raised the issue of the miners gates.
Because there was no resolution to resolve whether we fund or do not fund what was presented as option 4 on page 24 of our agenda packet, which was to invest in the installation of the Miners Gate sculpture of the Karakia Rail Trail. And so before we move off this item, I wanted it to be raised so that we could make a decision either way. Because as Member Rakwa sent an email earlier in the week, we have discussed this before. We approved the location and the exception of the GIF in 2022. I'm very mindful of what I said before about not wanting to spend our entire amount of discretionary money today, so that we've got a little bit of flexibility. But I feel like this is something that we probably should discuss. This is an option. It may be that this is something that we could fund through TUGPRA. It may be that we have to have sausage sizzles till the end of eternity to fund it, or any number of things, but it was recommended, sorry, it wasn't recommended. It was listed as an option in the paper. And I think it would be remiss of us not to talk about it at this stage, because there is a community expectation that at some stage the minor skate sculpture will be erected where we said we'd erect it. And we have accepted it as a gift.
Councillor Rodley.
Yes, we'll just support what Councillor Sinclair said. There's an expectation we have given. We've had the expectation has been given to the Thames Public Arts Trust that this will be put up. I also think that it could quite possibly be a Tokra thing. But yeah, we've made a commitment, the previous community board and this community board, about it. So I think we have to follow through with it, and Tokra could well be the mechanism to do that.
I've got no problems if you want to discuss now, but quite frankly, I've made a commitment in my own head that we've got to have this before our triennium's over, this to be erected. I feel this is a classic case for Tokra, to be honest, and keep that rest that separate. People may then query as to why we're spending our discretionary grants.
That's absolutely fine. In which case, I would like to suggest we think about some wording about a resolution
Correct.
to ask for a report about Tugpro, because otherwise,
Yep.
we'll
Otherwise be lost.
otherwise it's going to be lost.
Okay, so go.
Yep. I need a wordsmith.
Oh,
And I second that one.
yeah, we can. So you give us a resolution. Well, just bear with us for 5 minutes. Just talk amongst yourselves. Everyone. If you can read it, please read it out for me.
That the Community Board recommends to Council that it requests the Chief Executive to direct staff to investigate and report back on funding of option 4, invest in the installation of Miners Gate sculpture on the Haraki Rail Trail from the Thames Urban General Purpose Reserve at a subsequent meeting.
Just a quick question to the report writers. Why can't we, it's our money, why can't the board just say that we recommend that? Yeah, we do. We request that council allows us to use $19,000 from TOPRA rather than getting a report
Because we've already got the report. It's already in
got the
here.
report, yeah. And chief executive will just spin out and to do that staff to investigate and report back when it's already been done. So can you just flick that around to say that recommends the council that Thames the expenditure of $20,000. Let's just round it out from TOPRA to invest in the installation of the Miners Gate sculpture on the Haraki Rail Trail as approved by whatever meeting it was.
Yeah, 20.
Okay. What was it? Was it November 22?
I'll just double check.
Double check on it. So we got that. Okay, so each time I say it, I'll probably give you a different version. Right. Recommends the council that oh yeah, we'll just go 20,000. Shall we just round it out in case of short and concrete or haven't? Okay, we'll stick to that then. All right. Yeah. Okay. What is it? Up to. Oh no. Councillor Rodney wants the precise figure. What recommends the council that they approve the expenditure of $19,231 for the installation of the Miners Gate sculpture on the Haraki Rail Trail from the Thames Urban Purpose General Reserve Fund, approved at
23rd of November.
Approved at the Community Board meeting on the 23rd of November 2022, as approved at the Community Board meeting of 23rd.
So this is what I've got. Recommends the council that approve up to $20,000 for the installation of Miners Gate sculpture on the Haraki Rail Trail
From the Thames Urban General Purpose Reserve account as approved or as okay, all right, okay, you got that there. We're going to put up to $20,000 rather than muck around with $700. Okay.
You're actually approving up to $20,000 from the Thames Urban General Purpose Reserve for the installation of Miners Gate sculpture as approved on November whatever it was, 2022.
Yeah. All you do is changing the wording around. That's fine.
Well,
whichever way you want it. Whichever way
well,
you
it
want
is because the approval, if we're going to put the approval in, the approval was for the installation, not for the.
How can the chair argue with two school teachers? Seriously? Right. Tell us what you want.
So the Thames Community Board recommends to Council that it approve up to $20,000 from the Thames Urban General Purpose Reserve for the installation of the Miners Gate sculpture on the Haraki Rail Trail as approved by the Thames Community Board on November, whatever the date was, 2022.
Okay, that's clear, unequivocal. Sorry?
It gives it context and legitimacy. This is not just something we're.
Well, really,
on the fly.
it's up to you, up to the three councillors around this table to push it through for us, please.
2022, not 2023 meeting.
2022. 23rd.
And also urban general purpose reserve policy.
So long as you know that it's in agreements with our policy, or you don't want that put in there, do you? No, you can speak to that. I can see Councillor Walker will have something to say at the meeting when you bring it up.
I feel like maybe we should just move this and then deal with the council meeting as it comes. So I did suggest this wording and I am happy to move it.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sinclair, second by. No. Got to move it first and then you discuss it. Man, this is year 2. Okay, moved by Councillor Sinclair, second by Councillor Rebel, who rewrote it, along with Councillor Sinclair. Right, now it's open for discussion. Yeah, gosh.
Thanks, Chair. Now just want to go back a little bit back, probably 2 years ago. Originally, that sculpture's supposed to be installed by Thames Art Trust, but now they're looking funding. That's fair enough. So what I was thinking, rather than giving whole amount, if we give only 15 and rest, they have to come up with something, maybe fundraiser, whatever, that would be kind of fair kind of suggestion from my side. So rather than giving full money, just give some 15,000 and rest they have to find some kind of fundraising or whatever they call it.
Can I comment?
Yeah, Councillor Rebel.
Yeah, I think I would struggle to support that because I think the Thames Public Art Trust has done a huge amount of fundraising already for this particular sculpture over a number of years. And I think in comparison with the energy and effort and the money that the Thames Public Art Trust have already put in, that the contribution from the Thames Community Board to actually install it is a very small part of the overall value, if you like, of what has been already done. So I'm very happy to communicate unreserved support by offering to pick up the tab for the complete installation.
Well said.
Yeah, I sorry, I don't accept what you're saying at all. And this is not a ratepayers funded effort. This is out of our Tugpra account, which has got no ratepayers attachment to it whatsoever. And it's set up for this very purpose, to do these sorts of things. As the area manager said, this fits within the Tugpra policy. So let's not reinvent the wheel and start asking for donations and things like that. This has been an ongoing thing since you first came onto this board, and it's still ongoing. And it's my desire, my wish to see this completed, and I'm sure it is for other members around us in this room, to see this finished before our triennium. So any further discussion? Propose to put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, declared carried. You want that recorded? Board Member Mackenzie, you don't have to give a reason. Do you want that? You don't have to give a reason. And Board Member Rakwa. Right. Did we get that through? Do we have a? Oh, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oof. Oh, we're not showing it on the board yet. Oh no, we've got a great little thing here to show who voted and who didn't, and who abstained. Oh, next time. Technology's beaten us. Hey, that was a nasty comment from Dean Allen, was it? No. Carrie, yeah, I see Carrie. Yeah. So we're going to break for lunch, or you're going to. Yeah. So we're going to break for lunch, and we're back here at 12:30, please. And lunch is on. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to this afternoon.